And it's a happy New Year's to everybody. Happy New Year's to Coach JB, and it's
Yes, sir.
yours
Happy New Year's,
truly as
brother.
well. Same to you, brother. It's yours truly. A new episode of Coach's Corner, the playoff edition. Playoff edition. It's the wild card weekend. We did not coordinate the hat situation, by the way. I just so happened to have this on, but yeah, it's wild card weekend. We ain't gonna get too much into like the regular season. The regular season's gone. It's gone. It's finished. Throw it in the trash. Everything that happened, whatever. But we can talk about the simple fact that Black Monday came and gone. And of course, we see the ripple effects of like when John Harbaugh got fired. Other teams are like nipping at the bud, like they really want to take their chances in getting him. Before we get into the wild card weekend, any of those coaching firings that you found surprising, or better yet, you're kind of disappointed on that franchise giving up on that coach? And
Yes and no, right? Like
just
you
to
could
give the
start with the
people
Harbaugh fire,
right,
right? Like,
just to give people a little bit of context. I believe there's 8 teams available right now. The firings that happened was John Harbaugh, Mike McDaniel's.
Ravens, Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing
Yup,
this right now, but
Ravens,
I
Dolphins,
know who.
Browns.
Oh yeah, Kevin Stefanski. Oh,
Ravens,
yeah,
Dolphin,
that
Brown,
been happened. Yeah.
Titans.
Who else? Why am I losing my brain
I'd have
right
to go
now?
through it.
No, it's what's his name? Raheem Morris.
Let me see it.
Raheem Morris is one of them.
Yep, Falcons. That was a shocker. I didn't like that one.
Okay,
That one I'll
okay,
say
there
I
you
didn't
go.
like that
There you
one.
go. Yeah, I didn't
But
like it
let's
either.
yeah, I didn't like that one.
I didn't like that firing
Yeah.
whatsoever because I feel like this is the second time he's getting axed so soon. Like it's not even making sense. And that was Arthur Blank's like second choice besides Belichick,
So the
and he just gave up on him.
Yep. So yeah. Oh, the Gannon too from the Cardinals. The only way I would be cool with the firing
Raheem.
of him is if he drafted like if he drafted. Oh, I'm trying to draw a blank. If he drafted a QB, right,
Hmm.
without like they didn't want to draft him, right? Because it kind of was controversial. They paid all that money for I'm freaking.
Kirk.
I'm recovering from the gym. I'll bug it over here.
You were
Oh,
locked in. Now you gotta. Now
CTE to
you.
the moon. Like I know who I'm talking about, but I'm just drawing blank. Like they drafted Kirk, all right? They drafted
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins. They paid all this money. Obviously, like he's coming off whatever. But it's just like you drafted, then you signed him, and then you draft a quarterback in the first round who has an
Hmm.
injury history, and then you know what I'm saying? And then he gets injured, right? So now he's going to be out for most of next year. That is the only way in which maybe I'm down with firing him, right? Like, bro, we didn't really want to draft him. You advocated for him. We told you he has an injury history, and see, it played out in real time. And now we're screwed because Kirk Cousins is old. We didn't really use him in the last, the right way. And then now we don't have his quarterback. We got to go take another quarterback. That is the only way I'm down with firing Raheem Morris, right? Other than that, he deserves more time. They have a young core team, and their pass defense was good, right?
Yeah.
Like at the heart of the MVP race that we'll talk about it later on, right? Like the Falcons' pass defense actually is pretty good. They actually
Hmm.
kind of fooled Matthew Stafford, and even though Drake May's passer rating in the end looked good, Drake May definitely struggled against him as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree with you. Raheem Morris. I don't know how much he was involved in that QB selection because the GM was there before him, I believe. So it could have been a decision from
Yep.
the GM, and I know the Kirk Cousins pick was more of the owner. That's when it gets weird when like the owners are getting involved in the decision making, not letting the GM
Yep.
and the coach do their thing. And we see it all the time. These owners make billions of dollars, so they think, okay, this is my team. I run the show here. Let me just give my input. And this free agent. I want him because he's a good guy for the community. XYZ, he's a winner, like all these things. And it comes to backfire because when you get and I think that's what the downfall of Mike McDaniels as well. Like he inherited Tua. He didn't get to see his guy. And then when he put in, that was the reason why he wanted your twin yours to go from being in the practice squad or pretty much the QB3, elevated him to QB1 over Zach Wilson because he's like, that's the guy I drafted. I want to see how he looks in my system
Yep.
versus, keeping Tua because he has to protect Tua for the fact that he's not much. I mean, Tua goes under center sometimes, but he's better off in the pistol, better off in the shotgun. That was kind of the offense they kind of ran a little bit in Alabama, anyways. But he's a guy who needs to get the ball out of his hands like quick. But when you give a coach someone they have to inherit, it makes it hard for them to, you know what I'm saying, like coexist with that quarterback. Then because that quarterback understood other terminologies, other a different playbook, you name it. Because I think Tua was actually pretty good under Brian Flores, even though Flores didn't like him. So, but
Yeah.
that's
Well, so I think so. Building off that, this is where I think fires are complicated for the average person to understand, and maybe I'm overthinking it. So
mhm,
for me, I think that there is a progression that has to happen throughout a quarterback's career. It's a QB driven league, right? That's where if the NFL and NBA have similar comparisons. Tua, I can't imagine they're going to be able to move on from Tua. Right? There's a lot of money sunk into Tua. So are you going to pay a guy 40, 50 million dollars and put him on the bench,
mhm,
especially if he signed through like 27? I'd have to look into his contract, but I know it's something crazy that they can't just move on from Tua. Right? So if someone's
yeah,
not going to take Tua, you're responsible for a player. So in the way you got to make this work, and I don't want to say the coaches are replaceable, but like, so from an offensive standpoint, I say this. This is the reason why, right? This is why I wanted Zach Taylor to get fired, and I don't think necessarily that Zach Taylor is a bad coach. So these quarterbacks, they come out of these college systems where they play in the gun a lot, right? And the gun,
yep,
I think, is to an extent pretty favorable to a young quarterback, right? You see the field very well. You're 4.5 yards back, right? Like you can kind of protect yourself a little bit. You're not turning your back to the defense, right?
mhm,
And that's great for drop back passing. It's great in quick game. You know, when you're a guy like Lamar that can run, or if you're like Joe Burrow that's good with RPOs, right? You can do all this stuff. But at a certain point, you can't live in the gun forever,
right,
right? Like I think there was a number, they were coming off the most successful offenses this year threw from under center. That's the
mhm,
Shanahan stuff, right? That's McVay.
McVay,
That's all them. At some point, I think quarterbacks got to go through a progression, and sometimes that has to be the firing of either a coordinator or a head coach. That's definitely what I believe happened with the Commanders and why they moved, well, mutually parted ways with Cliff Kingsbury.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, that was kind of surprising too that he decided to part ways with them. But I agree with you. Like a lot of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I mean, Peyton kind of changed that whole thing with the whole shotgun thing too. Like he was very great under center, but he became a great shot. When he
Great
became a
Brady,
shotgun,
Manning.
yeah, when those guys were in the shotgun, that was you knew you were getting diced up. I'm sorry, you could forget about it, but if you saw them under center, it was even more deadlier because they knew how to sell the run on play action. They knew how to they made everything look the same, and that's what the goal is when you're playing quarterback. Everything has to look the same. But certain quarterbacks have a different footwork when they're in under center, or like they have certain things they do where
Yep.
they don't hand the ball off the right way and it looks sloppy. So then when if I'm a defender, if I'm a linebacker, and I paid attention watching film, and I saw like a quarterback like Tua doing something, I know he's gonna based on the personnel, I know where the ball's going. I just gotta make sure I get all my guys in the right place
Yep.
so we make the play. That's simple as that. But certain players, like I'm sure Joe Burrow would be great in the early 2000s. I'm sure obviously, I think Jordan Love would be great in the early. I mean, Jalen Hurts plays under center pretty often. They actually started doing it more often, I believe, recently, just because you're a running team. Like you
Yep.
can't be too obvious in this league. Like this league is they pick up on things quick. Defensive coordinators are
Hear me
not
out.
that bad.
Everyone's going against it. And right now, I personally believe the defenses are ahead of the offenses. It's been like that for 5 years.
Hmm.
So like when the Brady, the Manning, the NFL evolved then. It did, right? Like a
Right.
lot of the rules that came in that protect the passer, that protect the wide receivers, that was like a real throwing error, right? Which I
Hmm.
think stayed pretty strong up until like 2020, right? But I think just like the evolution of the defenses, all the fronts that they run, the stunts, right? The athleticism of the D linemen. I just think I don't know. I would love to do research off my pit, but I believe more quarterbacks are probably getting sacked and leveled from the gun at 4.5 because the ball just doesn't hide as well.
Yeah.
So if I'm a DN, like that mesh is not the same. Like imagine this. I'm gonna give this, right? I'm here, the mesh is in front of you, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
let me get under the camera, right? You can't tell, and I'm gonna turn my back to you. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like those types of things, I just think that under center, like I want to see Joe Burrow get under center more. I said that during preseason. I think that's one of the reasons why he's getting sacked so much and why he's getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? I think you do need to put guys under center. I don't think playing in gun all game is good anymore in today's NFL. I think third
You
and
know what?
long, mixing it up
What
for
else helps when
tempo.
you what helps you under center is it helps your offensive tackles. Offensive tackles don't have to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like they know immediately as you're in shotgun, they have to hold their block for at least 3 seconds. But if they know you're under center, that D end, if I'm playing defensive end, I knew when I played, obviously played flag, but when I knew I was pass rushing and I knew somebody was playing under center, I pinned in my head, I'm like, I have to defend the run. My first thing is like, I got to make sure I set the edge or defend
Yep.
that run, collapse the pocket. No, not collapse the pocket, but like I have to pay attention to what's going on in front of me. Until I see a certain mannerism from that offensive tackle, then I could pin my ears back and go. But if I see that he's going forward, I have to react to that. So you can't anticipate off a pre-snap all the way through as a defensive lineman. You really got to make sure you get your engaged with your hands and make sure you can see what's going on in that backfield best you can. And good luck. You know what I'm saying? That's where those good offenses who are
Yep.
under center can play that mind game, and that's why those great linebackers back in the day were so good. Their eyes were right at that
Yep.
quarterback above the center's head. Like, okay, I know I'm gonna read his eyes. I'm gonna pay attention to that running back. I got to see what's going on, and you don't really see that no more. There's no great. I don't know if there's a great other than Fred Warner. Like, there's no great middle linebackers there because you don't really need a great middle linebacker. The game is too fat. The game needs you
Well,
need
you could.
two you need at least a good nickel back and then like a good like will linebacker who could play in the middle a little bit. In my opinion, at least.
No, for sure. And you also just can't, you can just manufacture so much, man. Teams are getting in bare fronts. They're dropping ends out, right? They're sending a nickel from the field, right? They're sending a corner from the boundary. They're moving gaps, right? Like the modern NFL is insane, man. Like you can create chaos in there. So I
Mm-hmm.
just think, I think the gun is tough. I think the gun is really, really tough. I think there's a time and place for the gun, but I think it has to be a part of your offense, not the main featured part. I think it's going to lead to injuries. And I think, like what we were talking about, like just in terms of development, I think Jaden Daniels had his time in the gun, right? I think it's time to get him under center. I think it's time to boot him, right? He'll still use the gun in the 2 minute. He'll still use it on third and long. You'll still mix it into the course of the game. I believe, from what I understand, that is what Dan Quinn wanted. He wants to get
Yeah.
him more in a traditional. And I think even with Lamar Jackson, am I breaking up?
No, you good. I see you.
Am I breaking up?
No, you
Okay.
good. You good.
And I think even with Lamar Jackson, I think for him that I don't know how it's gonna go for him, but I think that's the next progression. Is less of the gun, less zone read, more under center, more bootleg, right? Let him throw. I mean, he always was throwing on the run, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Lamar sits in the pocket, but Lamar's at his best when he's running to the right and everything's just kind of flooding across the field. He's great outside the numbers. I don't know how well of he's going to be as a passer in between the seams, but we're gonna find out if he gets that type of coordinator. But I think that's the game plan, and I think everyone's got to go through it. I think Tua probably needs to learn how to get under center to an extent. You know, I think that stuff is grateful for everyone's game. You can even look at like go back to Josh Allen, right? Like he had Brian Dable. He really developed as a quarterback runner. Then Joe
Mm-hmm.
Brady comes in and he becomes more of like an under center, right? More of just a traditional passer, and you mix it in. So I think there's all those different elements of the game. And yeah, when you have a great offensive minded coach, then yeah, you might get a quick jump to the top. But I think there's different types of offensive coaches. I mean, look at like Bill O'Brien and Josh McDaniels for Brady, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what different things he learns from his different coordinators. So I think there's a path, and it's all about the QB. And like kind
Yeah.
of with the Falcons, going back to that, like, that's why it's not fair. They're around 500. They don't really have a healthy quarterback. Well, they're never going to be a legitimate quarter playoff team, so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, everything you say is true. And then a lot of teams are going into that 12 personnel too. Or they're drafting pretty damn good tight ends that are two-way tight ends. When I say two-way, they could block and they could pass catch. I know before Tucker Kraft's injury for the Packers, they were gonna go into a lot of 12 personnel towards this time of the season because you want to ground and pound. You know what I'm saying? And then give that illusion like, oh, we're gonna continue running the ball, and then here goes Jordan Love. Jordan Love is not at his best when he's throwing the ball 40 times. He's his best when he's throwing it like 25 times, and he's efficient.
Who
He's
is?
like
That's the
right.
question. Who is?
Yeah,
You
exactly. If you
know?
could do that, and that's what makes the Patriots pretty good. People who don't really watch it without the Patriot glasses on, they don't realize like there's a lot of work going on with having Hunter Henry and also Austin Hooper. You got 12 personnel. Those running backs are elusive. And then when Drake Mays get into that play action, or he just gets all that time, because although their offensive line has gotten better, but they're young, you're able to give him enough protection, he's gonna dice you up, man. Like it is what it is. That's just how football is. So simple. Is it's the offensive coordinators and the quarterbacks that complicate it too much. It's a really simple game if you stick to the basics of it. When you get all fancy schmancy, doing all the cute shit, Dan Campbell, it doesn't always work. It comes to bite you in the ass when it matters the most. I trust me on that. You know what I'm saying? You can do the little cute stuff like in the Super Bowl out of the blue, like this Philly special, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or a fake on a punt return, whatever. I think that's what happened with the Chiefs with Tony. Like you could do little things like that just out of the
Yep.
blue, just throw somebody off. But when you keep it real standard and basic and stick to stick to whatever brought you where you are, you should be fine.
Yep.
People overcomplicate things, and I think in the case of like Lamar, like you were talking about, I think him and Munkin just were in separate worlds. You know what I'm saying? This is the same issue that Aaron Rodgers had before he left Green Bay. He was in a separate world with LaFleur, and LaFleur was giving him, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Economy, I think I said. No, not economy. I'm sorry. He was giving him like straight up like all the power in the world to do what he wants, but you still got to stick to my principles. You know what I'm saying? He was like, these are my principles. This is what we want to do. But you can make the call, but it has to stick to the plan here. And that's when he started winning those MVPs. He was like, okay, I figured it out. But in the beginning, they weren't meshing whatsoever because he has his own playbook. LaFleur has his own playbook. And this is what happens with quarterbacks. Lamar has been with all that being said, he is a much smarter quarterback now than he was when he was in 2018. So he has a way that he prefers to play quarterback. But Todd Munkin has a way he prefers
I'll tell you
Lamar to
this. I
play.
think Ravens fans ain't gonna like this. I think Lamar needs to tread very lightly. He better get well, it's too late now. He
I
better
mean,
get this
he
right.
has no owner too.
All the
I mean,
pressure's gonna be
he
on
has
him.
no he has no
It's never,
manager,
it's
no agent. So I don't know how that's gonna work.
it's never well, just in general, it's never listen, like with Ravens fans and in particular Lamar fans, it is never Lamar Jackson's fault. And it drives me nuts. Like, bro,
Mm,
that's football. Football's drop passes, it's fumbles, it's your team not making a stop, it's missed field goals. It's your job as a quarterback. I've said to people all the time with Brady and Rodgers, it's your responsibility based on the roster you have to make the right moves.
hmm
You need to know when you need to speed the pace of the game up, when you slow it down. The Ravens have sped up the pace of games since Lamar has entered that MVP era. And it's been about something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't dig yourself into a 14, 21 point hole in a playoff game and then get mad when someone drops the 2 point conversion at the end of the game, which we've already talked about. I think that's more nuanced than people realize. Yeah, it hit you two hands, you got to catch it. But bro, you didn't lead them. You're late with the throw. It's freezing. It's
He,
ice on the ground.
it was in the
Why
bread
wouldn't you run the
basket. I
ball on the
don't
last play
know.
of the game?
I hear you. But no, either
It
way,
was
you're
not,
right.
bro. Go watch the clip again. That is not in the breadbasket. That's why
They
Andrews
played the
fell
crib.
on the floor. He had to make a move.
Aside from that, correct. Yes, he
Yep.
had to
I
sit
play
on the
wide
ground.
receiver. If I'm running full speed this direction and you throw a football that I need to turn back this way, mind you, I'm 6'6", 260, right? Let's say I'm Andrews. Bro, that's not it. Why are you not leading me? That's why you get it
Leading
out
me,
quick.
yeah,
I catch
yeah,
it,
yeah,
I
yeah,
make a move. I'm running now for the front pylon.
yeah.
And anyways, yes, Andrew needs to catch the football, but bro, the play was way more nuanced. But even if he
But
hit
it,
Andrews with a perfect pass,
yeah.
bro, you threw an interception, your fumble led to a touchdown. You guys threw the ball, and I'm gonna use that. It's easy to throw the ball. It is not easy to throw the ball on the 1 yard line. Run the ball from there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Well,
Like,
there you go. It's those stupid offensive coordinators. And no, and on top of that, we're gonna get
you
off
think
this
that's
topic
all
in
on
a
the
bit.
coordinator?
No, I'm gonna get a little deeper than that before we get off this topic. I truly believe these teams are listening to fans. I don't care what anybody tells me. They are listening to fans. They know fans don't care about running the ball. They want to see passes. They want to see the quarterback. Listen, we grew up in a time where we were watching Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, Eddie George, Brees Hall, Larry Johnson. I loved watching those guys ball out. And they were the main, like, you were watching games for those guys because there was not a lot of great quarterbacks. And then obviously we got the Paytons that came in the
Well,
league and Brady and all that. I'm just saying, like, the running backs are get the ball almost as much or close to as much as the quarterback. But for the fan base, fans like big run, don't get me wrong, but they don't want to see a goal line run. After the fact, when they don't
well,
actually run the ball, they go lose their minds. But I think the coordinators are overthinking it. They want to get flashy and give all these quarterbacks big stats, and it's like, dude, run that damn ball, man. Derrick Henry,
so
Saquon Barkley.
I'll push back on that. I think that's only in certain cases. The Buffalo Bills ain't doing that.
Well, that's different. Yeah, they
You know what I'm
definitely will
saying?
run the
I've seen
ball.
Tom Brady hand it off. Huh? You said what?
No, no, you're right. They definitely run the ball in the one. The Packers
But
do the same thing with Josh Jacobs. Yeah, I agree.
yep. Well, it's. Are you going to build a rushing attack? The problem with the NFL is the oversaturation of the stats and the MVPs, and it's like every
Mm-hmm.
single year you hear, well, look at this guy. Listen, don't get me wrong. If you end up with those stats or that is the strength of your team, knock yourself out. But brother, you have Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
You're Lamar Jackson. Your best asset is your legs. I don't care how much you want to tell me he could throw the ball and whatnot. Your best asset is your legs. Now that's going to change for Lamar. It looks like it's changing in real time, but that's your
Yeah.
best asset. And at the end of the day, I actually was having this conversation with someone today, and we'll finish the other part of it. But we're kind of talking about Drake May and Matthew Stafford, and they wanted to bring up all the touchdowns he threw on the 1 yard line. And I'm like, what does that mean? It's actually harder to throw on the one. The window
Mm-hmm.
is so tight. When I play
Smaller, yeah.
receiver, when I run a route, what I can use to my advantage is the vertical element of my route. Everything is a fade till it's not. But in the
Mm-hmm.
red zone, the DB is patient. They play catch technique or press in the red zone. There's no place to back up. And the refs don't want to call pass interference in there like that. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So the DBs play way more handsy in the red zone. It's a tight window throw. You're typically getting some level of man coverage down there. And usually that's why teams go big. Let's not act
Mm-hmm.
like everybody didn't go crazy when the Seahawks didn't run the ball on the 2 yard line or 1 yard line several years ago in the
To
Super
this day,
Bowl.
they talk about it.
It's
To
way
this
easier to
day.
run the ball on the goal line, even when teams get yep, even when teams get into those run sets, throwing the ball on the goal line, right? You do it if you know you can do it. But there's so many things that can go wrong. From a sack to an interception, it's just so many things that could go wrong, right? Most teams probably should look at running the ball. It's a lot easier to run the ball, right? My belief, right? Getting in there, right? I think most coaches would agree with that. So I think when you run the ball and throw the ball, teams do, but it's got to be your strength. You got to have an accurate quarterback, and you got to have a guy that can get open in the red zone, right? Like a true route runner to just be throwing the ball in the red zone like that, you know.
I agree.
But
And what people don't understand,
teams
like
will do
that,
it. I agree. They definitely they
yeah, those end zones are only 10 yards. So if you're at the one, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of room there, man. Like just because Devontae Adams got like what 10 of his 14 in the red zone, that means they're moving it down the field a lot. They're putting themselves in a position for 4 downs straight to score a touchdown. To take that away
and
from
building on
him
that.
or take that away from Stafford, I think that's not fair. Just because somebody's throwing a bunch of bombs to score a touchdown doesn't mean like they're running the most efficient offense. Not I'm not This is not against Drake May because he's been super efficient all year. But it's
It's
like, come on, man. Like you can't take
in
that
my
away from Stafford.
opinion, in my opinion, it's easier to throw a 50-yard touchdown than to fit a tight window throw in the red zone.
Hmm.
There's not because a lot of times you set up the play action. The safety already nailed down into the box. They bit the double move. So you can put the ball out there and lead a guy and they'll run underneath it, which also takes a lot of skill. I'm not saying it's not. But I think the back shoulder fades in the red zone, fit in a slant, and off pop platinum throw, just fitting it tight. Like those throws are infinitely harder. People have no clue what they're talking about. You don't see receivers every single year with 15 plus touchdown. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. You
Not
know, so
easy.
whatever the point is, it's definitely hard to throw in the red zone. I definitely agree that you can pad stats, but it's hard to do it. And if you're successfully doing it, and then on top of that whole thing, let's not act like Devonte Adams was a red zone machine last year. People were really thinking the fall off was coming, but we knew the Rams was a good fit for him. You know,
Oh
we
yeah,
knew the
I was
Rams
I
would
was
be a
happy
good
for him.
fit, but like at the end of the day, yeah, no, it was an amazing season for him. I'm actually heated I traded him in fantasy. You know, that boy was efficient this year.
Yeah,
He was a
but
red zone merchant. You know, he was out there looking like Mike Evans,
that's facts. But let's
old Mike Evans, not the one from this year.
we
Although
gonna
Mike
get
did, I
into.
think Mike down the stretch had a couple.
Nah, Mike Evans had a couple, but I was watching the game from 2 weeks ago. They were trying to get him in those back shoulder fades in the end zone. It wasn't working. Him and Baker look like they're in different worlds when it came
It's
to that.
hard.
But it's not easy. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. But yeah, we're gonna move on. Wild card
Yep.
weekend, of course. So Saturday we got two games. On Sunday there's three, and then the Monday night game. I'm not a big fan of that. They should just give us three on Saturdays, three on Sunday. Give us a break to decompress from all the
I like the
football that we have to
I like the Monday
congest.
night game. Spread it out.
I mean, if we're gonna get a Monday night game, I'd rather it not be the Steelers and Texans. I'd rather it be like give us the Rams and Panthers game on that night, like because it's a game I don't know much about is gonna happen there. But we're gonna start off on Saturday. The Rams are going to Carolina. The Carolina Panthers are home dogs. If you're a betting person, 10.5 is the spread. So good luck with that and however you want to look at that.
Bro, it's
Uh,
a bye week.
to me, I think it's a blowout,
It's a
but we'll see.
practice. It's a bye
Right.
week.
And then we have the Saturday night game is the Packers Bears running it back for the third time in a little bit over a month. Before we get to the Sunday games,
Yep.
who do you got in the Rams Panthers game and why?
I mean, the Rams are one of the best teams in the NFL. They're just in the NFC West.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that passing attack is potent. They got two good running backs. I think there's a lot of youth into that defense. You know, the defense is never going to look. Anytime you play with a potent offense like that, defense is only going to look so good. But I think their defense is pretty solid. But yeah, man, you got two legitimate wide receivers that know their roles, right? You got two good running backs. You have a phenomenal quarterback. I'll get into why later on. I actually think he's the MVP. But playing against the Panthers, I mean, the NFC South is the only division that's, I mean, I'll take the AFC North over the NFC South, but it's just bad, right? Like, it's just bad. It's not great football. Toodles to the Panthers for making the playoffs. I know they've had a drought, but I can't see that game being close, man. I mean, it is the NFL, but I think the Rams are going to scorch them. It's not going to be a tune-up game.
All the people that they're gonna try to make this a thing. West Coast team coming to the East. Stafford playing outside. I don't know what the weather is gonna be in Charlotte, but I'm sure it's not gonna be any colder than out here. So I'm sure he'll be all right. And he actually played not that bad against the Eagles in the snow last year. Because this is not that's listen, Stafford played in
I
a
was just
dome.
about to say that, bro. I
Yeah,
ain't worried about nothing.
Stafford played in a dome in Detroit. He played in a dome in LA, but he is a football player. He is a true football player. He knows how to play outside. He ain't worried about all that. Like he's a gritty dude. But I agree with you, man. I could see this being like the Rams were moving the ball on them. It was just that pick six, and it happens. You know what I'm saying? You're a quarterback. You're gonna make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And the,
Yeah.
the Panthers are ball hawks. Like they'll force you into some mistakes, but it's what your defense can. I think the Rams defense kind of was like sleeping a little bit on Bryce Young because Bryce Young could catch you slipping if you don't keep your. You know what I'm saying? If you're not staying, locked in that game as a defender, Bryce Young's gonna catch you slipping. I've seen him do it to the Packers a couple times already in the last few years. I've seen him do it in a few games this year already. Like he's no slouch, but he ain't the greatest either. So if I'm the Rams, I think they got their starting safety back in this game as well. You got Jared Verse, you got Brian Young, you got some dogs on that defense. They better be ready to get that boy and stop anything that's coming from there. As long as you can stop that run with Carolina, they'll be all right. I think it should be a blowout. It should be a shutout for anything.
Listen, this ain't the regular season anymore. That's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly.
This ain't the regular season anymore.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. This
I
is a
said this
different
ain't the
beast.
regular season anymore. Yeah, going off what you say, I agree, man. It's not the regular season, man. There's stuff that you don't show teams during the regular season.
Hmm.
Let's be real. The Rams are playing for a Super Bowl. I don't know if they'll
Yeah.
get there. I think the NFC is really, really tough. I think just about any team, with the exception of the Panthers, can make the Super Bowl from the NFC. I think it's that deep. But the Rams are playing for a Super Bowl. Like that, they're not. The Panthers ain't holding nothing to them. I don't care what the regular season brought.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's not another. The last time we saw a 7-win team. Oh no, they're 8-9. Excuse me. Under 500 team host the game at home, outdoors against a dome team that has an explosive offense. Was the beast mode Quake from several years back. So hopefully that's not what we're gonna see. But man, that would bring some crazy drama to the NFL this weekend to start it off. And then, I mean, that would be one of the biggest shockers of start for the whole season in general. Like, I don't truly believe the Panthers are better than the Rams in no way, no how. 9 times out of 10, they're not winning games against them, and they already got their 1 out of 10. So it shouldn't be a Panthers win that night. But anything can happen. We've seen it before, man. I wish I could sit here and be like, I've never seen that, but we've seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, anything can happen in the NFL, but I just don't think so. That's my take on the thing. I don't think so. Get into the other one. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like I believe in Ben Johnson. I believe the Bears are really, really talented. I think that their future is going to be bright. I think if you're a fantasy football person, you need to get your hands on anybody in their offense because I think they're going to be a really, really fun team to watch for years to come. But it's Caleb Williams. His first playoff game, right? This is his first
Yep.
playoff game. I'm still not sold fully on Caleb. I think it's gonna get there, but I just think like he's a very gimmicky, and I could just see him. The Packers are coaching wise, they're battle tested, right? So like there's talent in there. I know Michael Parsons is out. I know Jordan Love's been banged up pretty much throughout most of the year, but like I guess if I had to go with a team, I'm gonna pick the Green Bay Packers, right? Like I think that probably what makes the most sense, but I see that as a toss-up game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Vegas looks at it the same way. A lot of people feel like that because it's round three, right? Like the hardest game is the rubber game is the toughest game in a 3-game series to win because you already know they gave you your best the first time, they gave you your best the second time. Now we're at the third one, and this time it's going to be the second time in Chicago. So being completely unbiased, I'm going to go with the Packers
Caleb
no
don't
matter
like the
what.
cold, right? Yep.
Does he not? I
Caleb
don't
say he
know.
don't like. Caleb say he don't like the cold, right?
Hey man,
Josh
like
Jacobs said he feels healthy.
yeah, oh yeah, they
Yeah, that I got old Packers just off that, man.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing.
They gotta smash that. Josh Jacobs got to come through smashing that.
Here's what I will tell to America. I don't know what the outcome's going to be. I really truly believe and I hope this team wins. But I'll tell you what. For about let's say 3 quarters, more than three-fourths of a quarter, the Packers have beat the shit out of the Bears. That's the reality of life. Not even. I did the math wrong. Let's say it's really just about was it 2 games and 8 quarters? So about 7 and 3/4 of a
Seven.
game.
Yep.
Seven to exactly. So almost 8 full quarters, the Packers have beat their ass. If it wasn't for the onside kick, we ain't talking about. Nobody's talking about any of this. The spread would be like 6.5 at Lambeau in the freezing cold. It'd be a wrap. But now it's a toss up because the Packers are banged up. They've gone in a 4-game losing streak going into the playoffs. No Michael Parsons. Nobody knows if Jordan Love is going to be clear headed enough to play the game. I think he will. He'll be fine. They're banged up. The Bears
Hear me
are,
out.
the Bears are the new little
I got a
toy in the
question for you.
NFC.
Now I believe Jordan. I believe Jordan Love is the better franchise quarterback. There's no question.
Mm-hmm.
But would you maybe in a different world want Willis on the field? It's snowing, it's cold. I think Willis is pretty good. I don't think he's good as Jordan Love, but I think he's become an NFL starter, and I think there's some strengths to him that I just might want him on the field.
I'm gonna tell you why not.
Nope.
I'm gonna tell you why not. The reason why I say no, because in that game and even the game after that against Baltimore, their red zone offense was so bad. It was a bad like they went 0-5 in the red zone against the Bears. All they needed was one. We're not talking about this, right? Baltimore game. None of the issues was truly his fault. I'm not putting it on him. But when you have an opportunity,
Yep.
nobody has game tape on Malik Willis. They're not gonna, they're gonna be like, okay, this we know he's there. So if he's even in the field for a second, they know he's gonna be part of a running game. You know what I'm saying? So at the very least,
That's why. That's
I
why I
think
potentially like him, and that's why.
right. I mean, if they have a package for him to play in, I'm cool with that. But that then it gets a little crazy. Like now you're creating conversations that don't need to be had. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna get crazy because there's
I just,
people
I,
out
I just
here.
had to ask. I just had to
No,
ask.
I know. I
I
hear
think
you.
he's
I hear
gonna
you.
get paid this offseason.
Oh, he
I think
should.
he's
He
gonna get
should.
paid. Somebody's gonna pay him.
He's better than Justin Fields. He's better than. I think he's better
Like if I'm
than
the
a good
Raiders,
majority of guys out there.
I'm drafting. I'm not drafting it. If I'm the Raiders, here's what I'm doing, and I know it's not fully that. I'm signing him, and I'm trading back with the Jets. I want a couple of firsts, get as much as I can. You guys move up. You get Mendoza,
We'll
and
get
yeah, maybe
more.
you will take Dante. More, or maybe you get your quarterback next year. Archie gonna be in the draft next year. Because some teams, let's be real, that's half the problem. And I think that was what happened, kind of, to an extent with Malik Willis. It's just sometimes you just get on a bad original roster and
Hmm.
there's no way to develop you. Nothing like that concept they say read it. That guy's never gonna get open. He can't get open. So what is the concept you had me reading? He's never getting open. He can't break open. You got me throwing the ball, guy can't create separation. Now I'm here, pat pat. Oh, tight window throw, tipped up, intercepted. So I don't know, man.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's true though. That is true. When they traded the 7 rounder for him, I was like, at the very least, because he came in. He came in for. He got traded last year. That was last year. He was traded into that team. When he came in, I was kind of happy about that because I was like, at least if we know he could get developed by actual good offensive mind, and we could see from there what it looks like. Every team needs a backup
Yep.
that's young, uh, can be used well. Like,
Every team needs a backup quarterback now.
yep, more than ever, because you see it. Every starting quarterback
Every
besides Josh
championship team
Allen
needs a backup
has been
quarterback.
hurt. Every single starting quarterback has missed time besides
Josh Allen,
Josh
but
Allen this year,
don't
Jalen
say that.
Hurts, and Dak.
Don't say that. 'Cause he be
Well,
getting
I hope he
banged
doesn't
up
get
too.
hurt.
I be scared when he be running.
He is banged up right now, but he has. I think he's chasing that Brett Favre record right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with either the 40. I want to see the 49ers or obviously the Patriots win a Super Bowl. But like if Josh Allen won a Super Bowl, I would be happy for him. In
Me too.
Buffalo.
I'd be happy for Buffalo. That would be I think people will start saying that this shit's rigged only because they're going into a new stadium. So it would be pure, chef's kiss if they were to win the Super Bowl and they open up that new stadium with a banner. So I pick listen, I can see it being them. We'll get to that game in a little bit. But yeah, I would be happy too for Josh if he was to make it all the way through. But until my team gets eliminated, I'm not rooting for nobody else. So it is what it is. But I got the Packers, like I
Why
said.
would you,
Like
man?
I'm
You're
excited.
so lucky, man. We talking about Coach Fires. I want to know why Zach Taylor is not fired, bro. This is 3 years of this shit. The last time these guys went to the Super Bowl, it was like COVID. It was like the back end of COVID. Like, what are we doing? Listen, I
Got you
hope
over
in
there
some world
stressed
it
out.
won't happen. Yeah, I hope in some world one or two things happen, okay? The first sequence would be that the offensive coordinator from the Bengals gets a head coaching job. I don't know why somebody would do that, but maybe they would do that. And then Mike McDaniels comes to Cincinnati and coaches Joe Burrow. I don't know if it will do anything, but that would be fun for a year. And then the other one is they just trade Joe Burrow. So I could just I'm gonna go wherever Joe Burrow goes. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's where I'm going. Hey, where Joe? Hey, Joe's
Yeah, I
going to
don't
New
blame
York.
you.
I guess I'm a Jets fan. Hey, wherever he's going, man. But he's gonna end up on the 49ers or the Rams. Just wait and see, man. He
I
might
can
end up
see
on
the
the Packers.
Rams.
Be careful, man. He's gonna go
I
play
would.
for one
I'm
of those
not mad.
disciples.
I'll take them in the Packers. I ain't gonna lie. I'll take them.
People
I
have
love
just stopped me.
Jordan
Like, are you
Love.
a Bengals fan? I'm like,
I'm a Burrow fan.
I'm going wherever he goes. I'm going wherever he goes. That's right. I'm not gonna
But
just be out here wearing a Joe Burrow jersey.
Speaking of Josh
Yep.
Allen, at 1 o'clock tomorrow, they're going on the road to Jacksonville. Who you got and why?
All right. So I mean, I'm not. I believe right now that Josh Allen's the best player in the NFL. That's what I believe. Like regardless whether Mahomes stayed healthy, that's just what I just believe off of his ability to play. And I say that because I think he's mature enough. He's not chasing stats. He plays complementary football. That goes over people's heads. I'm telling you that right now. Josh Allen has no problem handing the ball off. When they do roll him out, oh my God, he's deadly, especially when he's rolling to the right. He's got his feet, he's got his ability. I think he's a great leader. I don't think the Bills are that talented. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think there's anything that crazy about that roster. I think they actually need to put a better roster around him. But Josh Allen, I think, should carry that team so long as he stays healthy and there's no gaping holes, no major injuries that would really take them back a notch. I think that not only should they get out of tomorrow's game, they should go to the Super Bowl. But that being said, the Jaguars are scary. And if there was a video game of a quarterback, it's Trevor Lawrence. It's always been frustrating with Trevor Lawrence. He's 6'6". He's like 230 pounds. He's fast. He's strong. I mean, look at the game against the Chiefs. He fell down and gets up and runs into the end zone. Like Trevor Lawrence is strong. He does the craziest things when he runs, and he has some of the craziest arm talent you'll see. He's just a bonehead sometimes with the football. And some of that I think is just a lack of one. I'm not gonna blame Doug Peterson because he's obviously a Super Bowl winning coach, but I just think maybe he needed the right type of coach to really accentuate some of the things that he's doing. I think Liam Cohen is that, and I just think sometimes it takes maturity. Like I remember when he was coming out of college, he made that weird comment about like not really caring. It was something about Super Bowls and stuff like that, and it was a really peculiar
Yeah, I
comment,
remember that.
for a
Yeah, I remember
guy
that.
that had so much promise. So, it wouldn't shock me if they beat the Bills because, maybe Trevor Lawrence is going to turn into what everyone expected him to be. And that's, in a way, it's kind of like it sounds nuts, but like Josh Allen 2.0, right? Like maybe that is what because Trevor Lawrence I think does have insane arm talent. Like go watch Trevor Lawrence's like best throws. Like if you really watch that stuff, like from the ability to bend and throw the ball, like they. But he's just a bonehead with the football sometimes, and it's just like there you go. There's a 4 interception game. There's a 3 interception game. And it's just like that's never going to win you a football game, and it's never going to be a sustainable thing for a franchise, and it's going to get people fired.
Yeah, no, I for one am leaning the Bills as well, but I also agree with you with the whole Jacksonville is the hottest team going into the playoffs. Like you can't take that away from them. Like they can take the ball away, they could rush the passer, they could run the ball. Once they ended up unlocking Parker
Yep.
Washington and getting Jacoby Myers involved, and they
Oh
still
my
got
God,
BT,
where did Parker Washington come from?
bro. That boy is cooking.
There's a saying, and I try to say, this is what I tell quarterbacks, right? And this is what I feel about what they probably told Trevor with Parker Washington. It does not matter if you throw a 2 yard pass that's caught and he runs 50 yards, or if you throw the ball 50 yards down the field and he catches
And
it.
he got to it. Yeah.
Throw short and run long, man. Put the ball. That guy's a playmaker.
Yeah.
The guy's a playmaker.
Yeah. You could tell
He's a
somebody's hungry on
playmaker.
that team
And
when
I
that's
got him as
that
the
boy
third
right there.
receiver on that team.
He is. He is.
Well, the other two take so much attention, so he just gets
Hmm.
the ball and then he just big play.
And don't forget about Brenton Strange.
Now
That's another
it's gonna be
target.
scary. That sucks for the. That's a tough. Yeah, Strange is really good too. That's a tough draw for the Bills. I ain't gonna lie to you. Even more so, why you need to win the AFC East.
Yep.
But I think
We're
some
back
of
to
the
crib.
reasons why they didn't win the AFC East, we'll talk more about in the MVP discussion. I just think sometimes two teams they get two different schedules. I
Yeah.
think that's the difference. I'm gonna be honest. I think that's just the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, I'm leaning the Bills, but for the Bills to win, they gotta let James Cook cook. They gotta let Josh Allen pick them apart.
Oh yeah,
They gotta win the time of
strength the
possession.
game.
Yeah, just win the time of possession.
Yeah, they
Keep the
do that
game
good.
away.
That's how you
Yeah,
win the game.
that's how they got back in the Eagles game. It was the Eagles should
I'm a
have
big
spanked them.
proponent of that.
Yeah, that's how they
Yeah,
beat that. They almost beat the Eagles. They beat the Patriots that way the second time around. That's the type of team they are, and that's the type of team you don't want to play in the playoffs. A team that's going to be willing to take their time to go down the field. They don't have a
they're
target that you can
constructed.
focus on. They're a tough team to
They're
to
constructed to
prepare
beat
for.
the that roster's constructed to beat the three other elite quarterbacks. That's my opinion. That's how that roster's constructed. That's how they beat the Ravens. Let Lamar make a mistake, we'll shrink the game. You'll never catch up. Do not let
Yep.
Mahomes get the ball last. Shrink the game. You know what I'm saying? The Bengals, I'm sure they're gonna bounce back, shrink the game. Do not let Joe Burrow get out to it. Obviously they did this year and then they smoked it, but it's just like in general, do not let those teams run up the score. You need the
Hmm.
ball and shrink the game. Those other quarterbacks, if you give them too many possessions, it's a wrap.
Yep. I agree. But I also agree with what you were saying about Trevor Lawrence.
They
I'm happy
rock.
to see. I'm happy to see Trevor Lawrence is ascending at the moment. I think when you have a play caller like Liam Cohen that's willing to erase your deficiencies, like your how you like we were talking about that earlier on in the podcast, footwork, stance, all those things make a difference for a guy, especially if you're going to be in the shotgun. You got to make it so it's very unpredictable what you're going to do or where you're going with the ball. So I think Trevor Lawrence has gotten better with that, and they're using Travis Etienne very well in this offense as well. Like last year, I think they kind of like try to move away from it and use Tank Bigsby more, and it wasn't the right answer. Like I think ATN is a very complimentary back for Trevor Lawrence, and that team is very good. I mean, they don't even have the greatest offensive line; they just figure it out. But the Bills just got to find a way to take away the ball and control the clock. That's pretty much all it is. They really want to win this game.
Yep. And Trevor will probably turn it over.
I can see it.
He won me a fantasy chip though, so that
But
was a
yeah,
crazy run. That was a crazy run, man. And then the
well,
fantasy chip, he ran in like two
congratulations.
touchdowns too. I was like, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. My goal is to win a fantasy chip a year. I play in two leagues. I gotta win one of the two leagues a year. That's how you keep the lights on. I'm just joking. The
I
payout ain't that much, but
I
it's
ain't
a
win.
nice
I ain't win
fixes
not a
it puts a
goddamn
dent in
thing.
Christmas.
Well, that's good.
I take
You
fantasy
need
really
to.
serious, man. You know, we talk about that every time here. I take fantasy football
Yeah.
very serious.
um, we have the 4:30 game, and the 4:30 game is the San Francisco 49ers going to the Eagles. I'm gonna start off with just saying, like, I think
That sucks.
I was listening to a podcast, and I did not realize how much trouble the Niners could possibly be in. And not it's not because I think the Eagles are that much better than them, because the Eagles' offense is kind of weird right now. Their defense is pretty damn good, but the problem with the Niners is I don't know what Purdy's injury situation looking like. Trent Williams just got back to practice like yesterday. Ursa might not make it for this game. I mean, they're gonna have to spam McCaffrey and then hope that they could keep away, so that the Eagles' offense is not playing well. But what better time to get it together but the playoffs? I don't know if it's gonna really happen that way. And then of course, another here we go, another California team having to come across country to play a Northeast team or East Coast team in their home. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to go with the Eagles, but I think it's gonna be a close game because both teams kind of have their own issues on both sides. I think it's gonna be a close game, and I see there's a lot of revenge here for the Niners too. And the last time these two teams actually did play, the Niners spanked them in Philly. So both teams have their own little revenge going on. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Yeah, no, you bring up a good point. It sucks for both teams. I think those are two good football teams. You're right; they got their own issues, but somebody's gonna get eliminated at the end of the night. I got the 49ers. Like I get the whole like gotta come across and play in the cold. I think that's the toughest football team in the NFL. They're old. They're definitely beat up, but this is it. Right, like this is it, right? Like CMC, they ran him into the ground this year. I don't like next year. He's not explosive anymore. He's just smart and he moves the chains. Kittle, same thing. Trent Williams, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't give me Ricky Pearsall I don't like to say he's a fraud, man. That guy is always out. You guys always hurt. But besides that, that's a very physical football team. They got Jawan Jennings. Um, I think even if they had a roll with Mac Jones, like Mac Jones did solid when he came in. I think Shanahan will have them right. I know they have a bunch of injuries, but I think that they so want it. They know this is it. They've been to a couple Super Bowls over the last decade, and they just have not been able to get home. I don't know if they're gonna win a Super Bowl this year, but they're my pick to definitely win tomorrow, and I mean, win in that game.
Yeah, everything you're saying is true. They are the toughest team in the NFL, in my opinion, too. Like to get like, and this is why
Yeah, that's what I believe, man. They physical shit.
I tried my best to not sit here and be making excuses for the Packers and their injuries. It sucks. You lost Micah, you lost this guy, that guy, and the third. Listen, the Niners lost Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. They lost dudes to free agency. Kittle played, missed a few games. McCaffrey, God bless his soul. Like he's always available somehow. I don't know. Purdy missed half the season. Trent Williams pulled a
Yep.
hammy for the first time in his career and he's almost 40. Like they're tough, man. Like that's a team that just gets it. That's why Shanahan might not never ever leave there unless
If
he
they
asks
had
for a
beat the
trade.
Seahawks, if they beat the Seahawks, which they didn't, but if they beat the Seahawks,
Hmm.
I would have been like Shanahan Coach of the Year with all that going on.
It was
You
getting
know,
close.
I don't know
It
how
was
they
getting
kept it together.
close.
I thought they were done. Like when around week 4, I thought they were done. I was like, they're done. I was like, Kittle's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like Purdy's out,
Purdy turf
and then
toe.
winning with Mac Jones. I was like, they're done. Fred Warner gone. Imagine
Brandon
if he
Brandon
comes
Ayuk,
back.
AO,
What if they win
Brandon Ayuk went
and they get
AWOL.
him back? Don't even who Brandon Ayuk. Yo, listen, Brandon Ayuk, and Ricky Pearsall might be the same person. They might be the same people.
Yo, I'm dead.
You definitely ain't seen them two in the same room at the same time.
They're roommates.
They're the same people. They're definitely roommates, man.
But yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. It will be fun to watch. I think it will be fun. I think that will be a gritty ass game. Those two coaches are very good coaches. I'm not a big Nick Sirianni guy, but his demeanor works for
He's a
what.
Philly guy, man.
Yeah, his demeanor works for that
Yeah, he's
area,
a
man. He is truly a Philly guy, truly. But Shanahan this year, I mean, it definitely was a masterclass. I'm gonna give him that. I'm actually quite impressed. I thought it was almost time for him to be gone. He figures it out
he got he
every
got in a
single
new
time.
bag this year. He involved his scheme, man. That guy's a great football coach. I don't care what anyone has to say. I hope at some point he wins a Super Bowl because that guy's a great football coach.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
The way he uses Kyle Juszczyk is
Yo, Kyle Juszczyk was playing. He was out wide, bro. It was crazy to me. He was getting like freaking hitch routes and shit. I was like, yo, this dude is
listen.
he's lit.
Listen, I've been trying to do. Listen, I've coached. I've tried to do the stuff that Kyle Shanahan has, like motioning fullbacks. It's fire, man. I love it, dude. I love it. It's like it's fire, man. Like it's make it look like one personnel, and then you motion in, and now you're in like a 21 person. Like it's just fire, bro.
Hmm.
It's dope, man. Now he's got the fullback in a wing and the quarterback motioning like he's gonna go across, then he comes back and kicks out the end, or he goes and leads. That's why I'm gonna rock with the 49ers, man. I got him. We'll see how it plays out, but I got them.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I think that probably be one of the more entertaining games. I'll be shocked if either one of those teams blow out each other. It should be one of those low scoring, like, gritty,
Nah,
like
I don't think that.
Philadelphia
Yep,
cold weather games. Yeah.
it's gonna hurt.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna hurt.
they all leaving that game a little bruised up.
Yep.
Sunday night, the big one for this area, New England Patriots are hosting the Chargers. The Patriots are favored by 3.5. Who you got?
I don't know, man. Listen, I do not know. Here's what I will say going into that, because I know Patriots fans. My heart will always be with the Patriots. Um, Drake May, let's just say this right now, is a very good quarterback. The New England Patriots are a very well coached football team. They
Hmm.
did their job this year. They never played, well, I don't want to say never, but they mostly never played down to the competition. And there's definitely some moments of chinks in their armor where we kind of wrote the Bills game off because they're the Bills and the Ravens. Well, that's probably why they fired those coaches. But the Patriots, they have not. This is playoff football. And when you go to the playoffs, we're going to find out who Drake May is. Is he a top 5 quarterback or is he a very good quarterback still developing? Right? We're going to find that out. If he's a top 5 quarterback, they will beat the Chargers. Chargers got a very good defense and they will mix up looks. Drake May is going to see something he has not seen yet. Patriots need to run the ball to protect him. I think they need to not ask him to do too much early in the game, but I worry. I do worry for the New England Patriots. I think they said Tonga's not coming back. Um,
Yeah, he's
it
out for the
seems
game.
like they had He's out for the game, right? Amari Hampton is questionable, but I heard he said he's gonna play. Harbaugh is gonna bring that team ready to play. I know Vrabel will have that team to play. I think the Chargers are just a little bit more experienced. They're a little bit more ready for the moment. That's probably the team that I think is going to actually end up winning the game. But listen, I will say it again. Drake Maye is a very good quarterback. He may just be top five at the moment. I know we're going to talk about the MVP in a second. You could have an MVP season and not be a top five quarterback. We know that. You're fooling yourself if you think otherwise. But I think they need to not ask him to do too much. They need to let the flow of the game come on. Later on in the game, he had to take it over. But I think the Chargers will win a close one.
Okay.
I think a
Hampton
turnover
is
is going to come from Drake May. I think he'll be forced to make a mistake. Yep.
yeah. Hampton he publicly said himself that he's going to be playing. Because he practiced, he went through walkthroughs and stuff, so he will be playing. Yeah, so I got the Patriots surprised, right? Everybody should be surprised. People think I'm a Patriot hater. I have no malice for them. If anything, I just don't like the Dave Portnoy type Patriot fans. Those type of Patriot fans are the ones that make me cringe because they
so
forget they don't
so
have no
99% of
humility.
Patriots fans?
Almost. They lack humility because it's always they hate us because they hate us type of deal. Nobody, no, stop it. Nobody hates you. Nobody hates Brady. Nobody hates Belichick. Nobody hates the Patriots. They don't like it's just like Red Sox Yankees.
Nah. People hate the
Nobody.
Patriots.
No. They don't. They do not know. Glazing is crazy on national media. They glaze them to death because they love the fact because this is a major market. They want this fan base to be engaged. They don't. They would rather not have that hate spewing. The hate was cool when in the midst of Brady's run because he was winning all the Super Bowls, or he went to 10 of them. Yeah, so you were envious. So that
Listen,
converted to hate because they had the right people
if the
talking
New
about it.
England Patriots, if the New England Patriots pull off off the game and they win it, they will go right
Mhm.
back to the most hated team in the NFL. They
I
will
don't
go
think
right
so.
back to that spot. It's already bad. You could feel it. Listen, go on Twitter. The amount of caping I've seen for why Matthew Stafford he's only gonna get the MVP because he's got friends. This is a sympathy award. It's like, bro, listen, it's turn it up. They will be the most hated team if they win because the
Well,
fans. I'm telling you,
okay, but
the fans of New England are just they're
I mean
different,
that's the point I'm making. It's the fans.
and
It's
it may
not
be
the
warranted.
team per se.
It may be warranted because I used
You
to be
feel
one of them.
me? You feel me?
I'm the
When
worst
the
type of
fans
fan, man.
like that's why I've told people Patriots are the new Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys fans are annoying. You don't want to hear from them. They haven't won nothing in years. You know what I'm saying? But they talk anyways, like they're gonna win it anyways. Patriot fans did it with Mac Jones. They're doing it now with Drake May. And
Yo,
I don't know how like it
the
like
Dallas
it's
Cowboys
happening
ain't won a
again.
Super Bowl since VHS, brother.
Right.
It ain't
And their
that
fans
long
are
for the
annoying.
Patriots. It ain't that long. It ain't that long.
It's gonna get long.
Yeah, Cowboys
Pause. It's
fans.
gonna get long soon. Pause.
Listen, Cowboy fans. Yeah, I don't. Listen, if this was a year from now, I would say I would. I think the Patriots will be ready to win a Super Bowl. I don't think it's gonna happen
Hmm.
this year. I think they did their job though, but I don't think
Yeah,
it's coming.
so I agree with you. Like I think they did what Washington Commanders did last year. They went above expectation and they just looked really they've been front running. So it's the front running works for them. They had that one comeback
Yup.
against Baltimore that you could really count on, like say, oh, they came from back from
Derrick Henry
adversity.
not playing in the last 12 minutes. Derrick
Like
Henry not playing in the last 12 minutes. Lamar Jackson didn't play in the second half of that game.
right.
The Ravens gave them that game.
The Ravens defense played a very damn good game for almost for until that last 10 minutes of the game, which sucks because you should be playing 60, but you played 50.
Why would you take Derrick Henry out? Squeeze the
Couldn't tell you,
clock.
man. It don't make no
Yeah, I
sense.
don't know. It don't make no sense.
But I'm gonna go with the Pats only because Justin Herbert. I think he just has unless that game is finally when he gets the monkey off his back because every quarterback is gonna have their moment when they finally get that monkey off their back. We know it, but I just don't
Yep.
know. I just can't see it. He's banged. His left hand is still banged up. The offensive line is banged up. Defensively, they could keep the game close because they don't give up big plays. They're pretty stout on the run game, like defensively. If Hampton could go off,
A turnover will
if
swing
Keenan,
this
if
game.
of course Keenan Allen, if he could be reliable on third downs and McConkey, I don't know how to say his last name, but if that boy could go off like he did last year in December against the Patriots in Foxborough, they may have a chance. They may have a chance, but I don't know, man. I've seen these Patriot games.
The
Every
Patriots
time
are
I see
gonna
Drake May throwing the ball,
the
somebody's
Patriots are
wide
gonna
the hell
need.
open.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Someone's wide
interesting.
the hell
I
open.
think it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be an interesting one. I got the Chargers, but it's gonna be close.
So you got the Chargers, I got the Pats. Whoever's listening and watching is gonna be shocked that I even say it. But again, I am not a Patriot hater. I have no reason to hate the Pats. I just don't rock with them. That's not my squad. You know what I'm saying? And the fans just need to stop being emotional. Just because I wear a hat that says Green Bay. Like, leave me alone. Like, it's cool. Enjoy
Nah,
your
it's
team. You
it's
saw a
actually type
championship. Good for
crazy, man.
you.
The things that I'm hearing people come out their mouth, I'm like, bro, it don't even make sense. But I get it, bro. I was once a Pats fan too.
But
All
last
right.
but not least, a wild card weekend. We got the Steelers hosting the Texans, and the Steelers are actually home dogs to the Texans. They were
Yep.
home dogs last week. They got the old man, Aaron Rodgers, under the helm going against the Houston Texans and their, in my opinion, number one defense in the NFL. I got the Texans winning this game. I just can't see it. I just can't see Rodgers. I mean, and don't get me wrong, he's locked in right now. This is the best I've seen him since the Achilles injury. Like, he looks good when he's comfortable in the pocket. But I don't think the Houston Texans are going to leave this man hanging around looking comfortable. He's going to have a hard time against that defense. And if CJ Stroud, and that's another, I think people are forgetting how good he is. I thought it was fool's gold too in the very beginning, but he's doing the same thing Purdy's doing. Like, he's playing tough football. He's locked in. You don't hear a lot of noise coming from him. He doesn't complain about a lot of things. He gets his guys involved. The team has kind of gone through a minor rebuild and somehow found a way to win double digit games this season. So I got the Texans winning. I don't know what the future holds for Tomlin. I don't think he's going to leave unless the Pittsburgh Steelers hand him away. I think a lot of people got the wrong idea, thinking like, "Oh, he's going to get fired." I don't think the Steelers do that type of business. They don't like firing coaches like that. So, but yeah, I got the Texans winning.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I feel the same way you felt. Like I feel, and this is what I feel about a lot of young quarterbacks, right? They have that breakthrough year, right? CJ Stroud had that breakthrough year, right? Like, oh my God, this guy's gonna be really, really good. And then you have the setback, right? And some of it is injuries in the O line, or the O line's not as good as you want. I also think some of it is teams recognize what said QB doesn't do right. They don't always expose it right away. Typically, teams use it down the line when it really needs to be used, and he had some struggling for a while, and he was struggling this year at the beginning of the year. But you're right. I mean, they definitely been hot down the stretch. And then to be honest, like other than DK Metcalf, like who the hell plays wide receivers for the Pittsburgh Steelers? You know what I'm saying? That was disgusting last week. Like there's no separation, and a lot of respect to Aaron Rodgers being tough. I like the up tempo thing that the Steelers were doing, really to try to allow Rodgers to outplay or outthink the opposing coordinator. But D'Amico Ryan, they gonna have that. Just Rodgers, it's gonna be a tough day for Aaron Rodgers. But they do have a puncher's chance. Texans fans, wherever you are out there, do not do anything to a terrible towel. Do not. I'm going to tell you right now, if you do something to a terrible towel, the Pittsburgh Steelers will win the game. That's just how it works. Don't touch a terrible towel. Don't talk about a terrible towel. Don't do nothing with a terrible towel, or you guys will lose the game. I'm telling you right now, that will definitely happen.
You don't want that bad
Ravens
karma. You don't want
fans,
that bad
that's probably
karma.
why y'all missed the field goal. Because somebody did something to a terrible towel. Don't touch a terrible towel, man. I
Yeah,
touched a terrible towel one time, man. I went to a Bengals versus Steelers game at Paycor, and the terrible towel is undefeated, man. It is undefeated.
yeah.
Don't touch a terrible towel. Don't talk about one. Don't do nothing. That's what it is. That's why they got Tomlin's had all those undefeated seasons, because a fan can't help himself.
Yeah, don't use that terrible towel to blow your nose or wipe your butt. It ain't gonna go too well. You're gonna be looking like a fool, especially like, and then you're gonna see Tomlin doing those blowing them kisses to the screen again. You ain't gonna be too happy when you see that. So you better not, you don't mess with those terrible towels. You know what I'm saying? Don't even own one. Get your own towel. How about that?
Don't even
It's not.
acknowledge it. Yeah, don't even acknowledge it. Them things gonna be waving around. Yo, it's gonna be going crazy in there, man. Road games are tough, dog. Road games in the NFL are tough.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's what's
that's the
messed
true
up.
reality.
Like that's what's getting it. Not to go on a tangent on this, but there are really, really good teams that have to go play a team that's not as good at home because of how the divisions are set up. I like that the NFL does it that way, but that's tough. That's
Yeah.
tough for the Texans. I think they'll be fine, but that's tough.
Yeah, and I've heard like all these conversations like, oh, should they do away with that just because Carolina's 8-9
Nah,
and
don't do
whatever?
that.
But it's like, no, I think if you win your division, you deserve the opportunity to host your game at home at least once in front of the fan base that's been supporting you all year, and that also brings money to that allows that team to kind of like invest there on their team going forward as well. If the let's say we took that away from the Seattle Seahawks that year that the beast mode quake happened, who knows? They probably would have never won a Super Bowl. That led to that. You know what I'm saying? We've seen
Yup.
it before. Like I think the Saints had a year when they were like a 7-win team that won a division in the South. Like it happens, man. Like it is what it is. Like
Yeah,
if you
no,
make
I
the
mean,
playoffs, you make the
listen,
playoffs.
it's rivalry football, divisional football. You assemble your team to beat the top team. That's the first step in the NFL. You
Hmm.
assemble your team to beat the top team in your division. Before you go knock off the top team in the league, that's what you do. The New England Patriots assembled their team to take out the Buffalo Bills. That is what they were assembling to do. Once you take down that, now you're king of the division. Now you go after the next team. Because you got to go beat that opposing quarterback. You got to beat that opposing offense. You have to attack that opposing defense. You got to play them twice. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I love about the divisions. The divisions are fire, man. Yeah, I love divisions, man. Like I don't care even for the Panthers, right? Like I know they're gonna get wrecked, but like winning your division is just sweet. Like how about that? The Saints and the Falcons got to play for the fate of the Bucks and the
I know that
Panthers.
shit
That's
was
crazy,
crazy. That
man.
was
That's
amazing.
fire.
That was
That's
amazing.
fire,
That
bro.
was
Like
amazing.
that's
But that's and going back to what you said. That's the greatest thing about the NFL. Like they set it up that way. That week 18, since they added a week, they were like, okay, we're gonna make all these games divisional games. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's see how the dice rolls here. Since it's happened every single year. There's been a deciding game for the division that they have to play on a Sunday night or on a Saturday night or whatever the case may be, and it's been cinema ever since.
I'll
I
tell you
mean,
this. I
I
still
love
hate
it.
the damn can I still am pissed at the Kansas City Chiefs last year for not even trying to beat the Denver Broncos because the Bengals didn't make the playoffs. So it don't some teams is whack, but yeah,
Yeah,
some teams obviously they're playing for the division the final week, man. It's
yeah,
scary ass
yeah.
shit,
A
Chiefs.
lot of,
That's why they didn't make
I
the
feel
playoffs
like,
this year.
yeah, a lot of, yeah. The Chiefs should have at least played a half. You know what I'm saying? Like at the very least, but they already had wrapped up the first the bye, so I don't think they cared too much.
No, I'm
But
him.
also on
They
top of
basically
that,
had two buys, man.
yeah, on top of that, week 18, a lot of decisions are being made in the front office about certain players so they don't get hurt and the money's involved, all these stupid things, and which sucks because you take it away from the fans and you take it away from the
Yep.
drama that's needed because trust me, the reason why, like I said, the reason why they have those week 18 games for is divisional games. What better
Yep.
time do you want to get up for a game is to play your team you don't like? You know what I'm saying? Like, but what can
Yep.
you do? But we have our predictions. We're not gonna give no game totals. We're not gonna get into involved with bets and all that. Y'all do that at your own time or whatever. But we're gonna end this episode quickly debate. And there's not much of debate, just we want to open the door for the conversation for the MVP of the NFL. Right now, Matthew Stafford is the odds favorite to win it, but obviously we hearing that a lot of Patriot fans are fighting verbally about why they don't believe Matthew Stafford's a MVP. So, with all that being said, why do you think Stafford is the MVP of the NFL? And I'm gonna tell you why I think Drake May should be. I'm not choosing him as such, but I'm gonna tell you why. But I want you to go ahead and tell everybody why you think Stafford's gonna win the MVP of the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with 46 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That number alone is insane. You know what I'm saying? Like that's an insane number. And they run their team as a pass heavy team, right? Like you can go all they like it's just different, right? I think New England on the counter and Drake May like once again, like I don't throw a temper tantrum. Like Drake May had a phenomenal football season. Drake May has proven he is a franchise quarterback. Drake may prove next season he's the best quarterback in the league. I don't think that's the case, but he may. Drake May is that good. But like Matthew Stafford, this year was amazing. This is not a sympathy season. right? This is a straight dominant football season, and they did it in the NFC West. Like, I was going through people because people like this is what I saw people try to do to cope with the whole thing. And this is the other thing too. The Patriots played the 32nd ranked strength of schedule. And I get the whole like, oh, you got to beat who's in front of you. No, like that matters, man. Like that legitimately matters. That's the difference. Like when you go through it, right? And I really was doing this like on the other side. Like I was talking about because everyone's go to that I've said on the other part of the argument is how the Rams are the fifth seed, but how the Patriots are the two seed. I'm like, yeah, but the Patriots are the two
Hmm.
seed because they won their division. The Rams are the five seed because they didn't win their division, and the Seahawks are the number one seed because they won their division. And let's not act like the 49ers weren't also playing for the league championship just a couple weeks ago with the number one seed as well too. So to me, and then people like their counter was like, well, look at their common opponents, right? That was what I saw, right? Like, look, Matthew Stafford, Drake May had a better record. Yeah, but imagine that those common opponents were the Patriots' best opponents. And then those common opponents were not the Rams' best opponents. So it's like that's why that argument doesn't make sense. And once again, I'll go through the thing. So I was saying to somebody, I was like, let me know when the when what how Drake May or the Patriots beat the Rams or the 49ers or the Eagles or the Broncos or the Seahawks. I'm like, they did not play any of these teams. They just didn't. And it is what it is. And I get you play the teams in front of your schedule, but that's why I don't get caught up in stuff. And the other one I want to dispel, I know I'm making it more about Drake May than Matthew Stafford, but it's because I'm so in love with that 46 touchdown, 8 INT, that's dominant type efficiency. And they perform very well this season. Unfortunately, you can't always win it. I don't think you necessarily need to come in first place. I think first place versus second place matters when I don't think it's as close as people think it is. I think the numbers look close because the difference in schedule. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And so that's how I felt about it. Like to me, it's hands down Matthew Stafford. Those throws are different. I think the intermediate throws are also way harder than a 40-yard, 50-yard, which is not saying it's easy. Bomb down the field where it's behind the defense. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I know you'll get it. He definitely has the better wide receivers. I'm not pushing back on that. Drake May does not have the talent that Matthew Stafford, I would say, has at the receiver position. But I think the overall team, facilitates a little bit different than how the Rams. The Rams they're gonna win the game through the air. So for me, it's Matthew Stafford. I'm sure some other things will come up as you're going, but I think Drake May had a great season, and if he won the MVP, I'd be happy for him. But I believe Matthew Stafford is the MVP. This is not a sympathy award. This is straight dominance. To throw 46 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, and lead the NFL in passing yards while playing in the NFC West.
Yeah. Well, what I will say is I'm not gonna. Me doing this is not to defend, you know, Drake May. I'm just saying, based on a few games I've watched and just like focusing on a lot of the stuff, he's definitely been the most improved quarterback from last year. And I don't think he should have been a Pro Bowler last year. I don't know why. The Pro Bowl is weird these days. It's stupid. But
Yeah,
he's definitely a Pro Bowler this year, and he's an All Pro quarterback as well. He should be a second team All
definitely
Pro.
All Pro quarterback this year. Yep.
But I will say this, like he's elevated that offense for sure. If we're talking about lack of talent, he's elevated that offense. He moves with his feet. He's been tough as nails because last year he had a few bumps in the road with a knee injury, concussion, stuff like that. He looks like you watch the games, he looks like a confident quarterback. He just looks like somebody who's dialed in, locked in, no matter. And you feel like if you're a Patriot defender, you feel like, hey, if I give up this touchdown, I know my guy's gonna get me back in this game, and I can figure this out. You know what I'm saying? So with all that said, I also choose Matthew Stafford, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Drake May. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised if they were co-MVPs. We've seen this before. Peyton Manning and Steve McNair won co-MVP, I think, in 2003. And clearly Peyton Manning had the better season, but Steve McNair had the flashes, like the flashier plays, the division win. I think he actually led the Tennessee Titans to the conference to a bye week. I can't recall, but he was just that team was very damn good, and it was because of Steve McNair. He didn't have the same numbers as Peyton Manning, but he was still, before Cam Newton, that was the guy, man. That was the guy I loved to watch growing up. Was Steve McNair. Drake May has a lot of great qualities, escapability, and you know being confident down the field with his throws, but you know. I'm with you on that. Matthew Stafford for me as well. But I will tell you this: I'm not going. I don't like the reasons behind why Drake should win it for some people. Some people will say, oh, well, Matthew Stafford has
Yeah,
Puka Nakua and Adams, Karen Williams. But yeah, he's had great offenses most of his career. This is the best of his career. This is the best season of his career, period. There's no hands and ifs or buts. Even the Super Bowl year he had, he didn't even have a great season. He just had a normal Matthew Stafford season. This is the
this
beyond this is beyond what
you
he's done in
know,
the past. You know what I'm saying? So, but
it's an
let
insane
me finish. Let me
season,
finish with
and
this.
yeah, go ahead. My fault. My
Let me
fault. My
finish with
fault. My
this.
fault.
So Drake May. What I'll tell everybody is this: as much as people want to say Drake May doesn't have the talent and that's why he should win it, that's not why you win MVPs because you don't have talent around you. You win MVPs because you're valuable to your team. So if they took you off that field and put your second string, it wouldn't look the same. That's it. You elevate your guys. You know what I'm saying? He's built around. He had to develop. He developed with Pop Douglas and Kayshawn Booty. He had Austin Hooper, Hunter Henry last year. This is the same guys from last year. The left side of the O line has changed, and they did a good job of making sure that improved. They got a dynamic, explosive running back in the draft, and they kept Ramondre Stevenson, who hasn't fumbled the ball as much as he has in the past. They've gotten better. Stephon Diggs is 1,000-yard receiver. That's no slouch. Don't tell me about talent, dog. I don't want to hear that no more. They have talent. It just works with him and the
They
system
do
Josh
have talent,
McDaniels has built for that offense.
and
Okay.
you're leaving a
Matthew
guy
Stafford,
out.
on the other hand, who else? Oh, yeah. Mac Hollins.
Not
Is that who you were
Henderson,
talking
bro.
about?
Henderson has some crazy games down the stretch.
No,
Yeah,
I talked
Henderson,
about Henderson.
crazy games
They
down the
drafted him.
stretch.
Yeah, I talked about Henderson. I
Oh, you
talked
said
about
Henderson.
Henderson.
My fault. My fault. My fault. My fault.
Yeah, I was like, he's the
Okay, my fault. My
explosive guy that
fault.
got in the draft. Yeah, but yeah, to finish what I'm about to say, Stafford, yes, Devontae Adams, Puka Nakua, not Henderson, excuse me, Williams, Blake Corum, sure, whatever. Listen, don't tell me Jimmy Garoppolo is gonna step in there and throw 30 touchdowns in the season. No, Matthew
No,
Stafford is pretty goddamn good, and that offensive line is actually worse than the New England Patriots offensive line, if we're being honest. All right. So, and he's playing in a much tougher division, and I think the Rams are the only team in the current playoff standings that has a winning record. Like they're not winning record, but they played the most playoff teams, and they have a winning record against playoff teams. So we don't need to talk. We don't need to do all this comparison game. The reality is, 46 touchdowns to 8 interceptions is an insane stat, and you led the league in passing yards. That's the same thing Aaron Rodgers did in 2021 when he beat out Tom Brady for the MVP. It is what it is.
who
Like, what do you want?
also had an
What do you want?
insane season.
You feel me?
Yeah,
So, like, let's not play that game like those stats don't matter. Like, yeah, I get it. He threw the ball more, but that's like you said, that's the passing offense. That's just what they do
that's
over
their
there.
offense. That's their offense, bro. And I'm just, I got so passionate about it because I just was watching it more this week. And you just look on the like, bro, the amount of times that Matthew Stafford is fucking looking this way and fucking throws the ball that way, dog. Like, literally just look like,
Mm-hmm.
if you watch football, the throws are not the same. Yes, we keep hearing Drake May is the best deep ball thrower. I also hate that shit too because I think that's the most misleading. So this is the coach me going on a tangent, right? So I get the whole completion percentage and then yards per attempt argument, right? We used to do that with like Tom Brady, and we used to do that with Patrick Mahomes on a couple years because there is a hack to completion percentage where you throw short passes and you can boost your completion percentage. And then I get it. Drake May has kind of broken that mold by how they measured it because his yards per attempt, okay, is so high because he goes deep. But it's also just like you can play action into efficient downfield passes. And that's not to take anything about Drake May. Drake May has been phenomenal this year. Drake May has played great, efficient games just about all year. But they could hide behind the run. They could slow the game down. Matthew Stafford is making some of these tight window throws in defenses that, yes, Drake May has made at times, but I'm just seeing it way more from Matthew Stafford, man. As a passing guy, the season that Matthew Stafford has assembled this year is amazing. It's just simply amazing. It's a masterclass against great talent. I just don't know what. I don't really even believe it's as close as people make it. The record is the only thing that makes it close. And Drake May had a phenomenal season. But like even last year, what made Josh Allen's season amazing was like beating the Chiefs, right? At the Chiefs.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Patriots, their top part of the season is beating the Bills, which I agree that's good, but it's not like the Bills had a season this year that was like 1 seed, 2 seed Bills. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if Lamar Jackson is super healthy and the Ravens are going the playoffs at 14-3 and Drake May beats Lamar Jackson, then maybe I feel very different about some of these stats. But I don't see that. So to me, I gotta go with these 46 touchdown passes, bro. That's all I need to see. Eight
Yeah.
INTs, 46
And to
touchdown
close
passes.
and to
You
kind of
couldn't even do
close
that in
everything out
Madden,
on
bro.
that, like
Go do that in Madden. Tell people go do that in Madden.
the whole comparing who they play. Like I know people are gonna be like, oh well, they blew out the Panthers, you know what I'm saying? And then Stafford threw a pick six on against the Panthers and this, that, and the third. Yeah, Stafford was on the road and they still lost by what, like 3 points or whatever. The Panthers were a weird team. They would get blown out one week and beat a team the next week. They were beating playoff teams. This is not a fluke that what the Panthers were really doing, but you were at home and you had a handle in that game eventually because the first quarter was much closer than what it looked at first. But it's like you can't do that. Don't say like every team matchups matter in the NFL in all sports actually. Matchups matter. Sometimes your team just matches up way better against this team whereas the other team does not. And the NFC opponents kind of clash differently than AFC NFC components do. It may sound like an excuse, but it's just a reality. Football is not, again, football is a very simple and easy basic sport if you just keep it real simple and basic. But sometimes certain coaches don't do that. I'm sure Josh McDaniels is a very good coach when it comes to like, hey, let's close it down a little bit. Let's condense this playbook because we're not there yet. Whereas McVay is like, I trust my guy and I'm gonna let
They're in
him
it.
just throw that shit. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes Matthew Stafford does it better than it should be, and sometimes it gets a little bit too loose.
Yep.
But that's just what makes a
And
great
it
quarterback a
sucks.
great quarterback.
Like
Sometimes they do those things.
Yeah, and it sucks. It was a great season by Drake May. If Matthew Stafford had less than 40 touchdown passes, or if he had double digit interceptions, right? Or
Exceptions,
like I said,
yeah.
if the Patriots had a stamp where Drake May and them outdueled one of the top teams in the NFL, like or strung out a couple of those games and didn't have a 32nd ranked schedule, then like I would be like, yes, that this is it. Like last year between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, I was cool either direction where it went. I felt it was Josh, but I was cool either direction. They both had a very, very, very good statistical season, and then they went out there and got very, very important victories. I just don't see the New England Patriots, other than beating the Bills, having an important victory. I don't. Like I just don't. And that there should be a couple of those on there. You know, unless you have an insane statistical season, which is exactly what Matthew Stafford had. Drake May had an efficient season. Matthew Stafford had an insane statistical season. Like I'm gonna say it again. Go home, go play Madden, and let me know on all Madden without restarting a single game if you could throw 46 touchdown passes and 8 interceptions or less. And he was sacked like 23 times, which means he understands how to get the football out. Drake May was sacked more. All those
Mm.
sacks ain't on the offensive line.
Yeah, he
And I know people
he
going
gets a little
crazy.
reckless with it, and he gets a little reckless a little bit, but he's been bailed out quite a few times with like Steph Diggs being the easiest, giving him some easy targets. You know what I'm saying? So that's a credit to him and Diggs having a good relationship in the passing game, and is a credit
Yeah.
to Josh McDaniels setting them up for success with those third downs when they gotta have it. So it's a collective right there, you know. But it's like at the end of the day, like you said, Stafford. People are just making it seem like Stafford did this every single season. This is not a regular Stafford season. He has Stafford type seasons.
This
He's
is
more of a
not a regular
gunslinger than what you
Stafford season.
know.
This is not a regular
It's not a
any.
regular.
This is not a regular anything season. It's not a regular anything
Exactly.
season. And yes, Devonte Adams is on that team as the number two, but let's not act like Devonte Adams didn't look left for dead last year with the Jets. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
this is what it is, man. Like I don't know. It's an amazing season. I think that people need to have more respect for the
Listen,
season. And Drake May had an amazing
Stafford had
season. The Patriots are back. Drake
Stafford
May is
had
a great
Cooper Cup.
quarterback.
Stafford had Cooper Cup and Puka, and we didn't see nobody talking about that last year or the year before that. So I don't know whatever narrative people want to live off of is cool or whatever, but the reality is like the numbers don't lie, and
It's
win
what
win
it
totals are not a quarterback stat either. take that for what it is.
What it is, I'll leave you on this. We get out of here. Is that sports love controversy? So, and in the end, this is great for football.
Hmm.
Just like the Lamar
Oh
Josh
yeah, it's
Allen debate,
amazing.
it's great for football. It's amazing. Discourse is amazing when it comes to sports because it creates engagement. And then there's bias, right? Like at the end of the day, like this is what Pat fans want, right? But like this is not a sympathy thing, man. Like this guy played amazing, and honestly, if he didn't throw three, if they didn't lose to the Falcons, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Like if he didn't have
I
that
know.
bad game against the Falcons, and let's be honest, the Pats ran it up on the Jets. It's like it all happened at the same time to even reignite this conversation. It's not a conversation to me. Like Drake
It's
May should be
it's
on the All
funny
Pro team,
the
team two. You
of
can give him
course
team one if you want.
it's kind of funny how the it's funny like how hypocritical people can be because he did that to the Jets. Like they ran it up on the Jets and he kept throwing the ball. They kept them in the whole game almost. And Stafford had a bad one. And then here we are, week 18, and you're actually your team is fighting for a number one seed, and Stafford's team was technically trying to fight for the fifth seed, which they didn't even get because the Niners won. But yeah, they did the same thing. They started padding the stats as they should. That's week 18. Let's have fun. Let's go out there and beat some ass.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Let's beat somebody's ass out there. Like, let's do that. But
Pats,
it's
it's
funny how hypocritical people get,
it's
and they're
gonna
like,
be
"Oh
good,
well, you have
man.
to do that
The
against
Pats fan.
you have to do it against Arizona." Come on, man. It's not the same thing. Yeah, you were going off on Miami and the Jets. Them teams are trash. They're done. They
You know,
packed their bags like
yeah,
three
you know
weeks
what it
ago.
is. You know what it is. Y'all want to talk that bullshit about the MVP? We're gonna fix this shit right now. That's what we're gonna do. That's what the Rams said. McVay said we're gonna cook this up right now, man. We're gonna fix the odds because Drake May moved up to number one after that game in the odds, and then
Hmm.
after the game, after the Week 18 games, Matthew Stafford went back to number one. Um, yeah, it's good stuff, man. I listen. I wish the best. I love it, but it's just crazy, man. And then like just hearing about how like well he's throwing the ball on the 1 yard line for like 15 TDs. It's like well bro that's their offense. That's their offense. That's their red zone offense.
What do
It's
you want
not
them to
like
do?
Adams had
Keep
over a
running the
thousand.
ball, I guess, huh?
Yeah, yeah. No, well put the ball in your best player's hand, which is probably Puka. But at the end of the day, it runs through the quarterback. I
I
don't know.
agree
Puka's
with you,
good,
my
but I
man.
think also part of Puka being good, and we'll use that on a different day. Is
I'm
you know
becoming a big Puka fan, so I do see a lot of things that I'm still like amazed about how good he is because I don't really see that. He doesn't look like a Calvin Johnson. He doesn't look like a Julio Jones. He doesn't look like you name it.
well it's
So any
it's
Hall of
the
Fame wide receiver you could think of, the kid is just something else. But
I
come on,
mean,
man.
but I'm also telling you,
He's doing some things out there. He's a
it's
coach's
that
dream.
offense. It's perfect. He is willing to block so you can develop mismatches. I mean, Cooper Cup won the Triple Crown in this offense. JSN went
Hmm.
nuts in this style offense. You know what I'm saying? You get yourself an elite quarterback, an elite wide receiver, and you got a play caller from the McVay tree. We're just going to make it look like we're trying to run the football. You know?
Yep.
It's amazing. I would love to see the 49ers with a I think Purdy's really good, don't get me wrong. But I'd love to see the 49ers with a Joe Burrow, right? And Jamar Chase don't want to block. But one of those types of wide receivers, right? And it would be insane. It'd be
Yep.
insane. Get a young Aaron Rodgers in there. That's why like it's good stuff, man.
I mean, it almost happened.
If
It
Drake
almost
May wins
happened.
it,
Rogers
awesome.
almost won, ended up in San Francisco.
Yeah, that would have been dope. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know if he's done. I won't hold you up any later, but who knows? Who knows? We'll
Yeah.
leave it on that note. Until next time.
Until next time, yeah, man. So we'll
Yeah,
see
bro.
how this all transpires, and we'll link up next week with the results and who we got for the divisional rounds. But till next time, my brother, happy New Year's again to everybody. Make sure you subscribe, like, share this
Yes,
to
sir.
whoever's wanting to listen to us chat about football all day long, all night long. Make sure you guys listen to this before the games, during the games, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna have timestamps on the description so that if you want to just miss a lot of the yapping that we do in the beginning and just get to what we you want to really hear, we'll give it to y'all. But until next time, my guy, salute.
Yes, sir. Bro.